What's going on, family? It's your man B Miles coming to you live once again with another video tonight. Reporting to you live from the B Miles 84 Conscious channel. And I pretty much want to come to y'all, talking about the video, talking about how artists and entertainers are stepping up and calling out, racism, for what it is and all that. And I pretty much, want to call this, I pretty much want to talk about, what Nick Cannon and Draymond Green has done over the last couple of, pretty much over the last couple of days, within the last week or so, about how they stood up against white supremacy and called it out for what it is. And I want to start off, talking about what Nick Cannon did about, joking about his black card and stuff like that, how he pretty much took it to social media talking about he will not be controlled. And I definitely got to give him the credit, for what he did, because it go to show you that Nick Cannon, that is, it pretty much showed to me that Nick Cannon, he's pretty much telling white supremacy, like, look, man, like, I'm not going to be controlled. I'm not going to back down from you. And he left a real nice long statement talking about, I will not be controlled. And I really got to give him the credit, because it is about that time that, the black African community, that we must take control of our own stuff. Because if these people going to be locking us into these contracts and all that, and we got to understand something, that they want us to be quiet, and it's up to us that when it comes out to situations like that, is that we cannot be silenced and we not be quiet, but they use the money in front of us as a way to keep us quiet. It's pretty much the same thing, talking about the master and the slave master. And that's pretty much going to go right along, with Draymond Green situation. And I pretty much want to finish up with Nick Cannon, and I really like what he stated about, I'm not going to be controlled, and I'm going to, I'm pretty much going to be doing this and the third, and I'm not going to be solid about these situations. And every time we call out racism, or every time we want to take a stand, they want to try to blackball us. And I really felt as though he did the right thing by challenging that, because he's on a TV show, he's famous, he's making his money, but he also letting them know that, look, man, like, I'm not one of these Uncle Toms. I'm not going to back down from you. I'm going to let you know what it is. And I pretty much want to go into the Draymond Green situation, talking about, the master and the slave master situation, is that he called out Dolan, the Knicks owner. He's a slave master, because, when it came down to the Charles Oakley situation, he pretty much treated him like, look, I'm the daggone master. You mean to tell me that Charles Oakley put all of his time into the New York Knicks, and this man want to come into the stadium, and you want to have this man removed, and all of a sudden now you want to, like, this man, Charles Oakley, dedicated his well-being to the New York Knicks. He's always going to be a Knick, like he said. And, with Draymond Green calling out Dolan, the slave master, a couple of commentators tried to back away from the statement, but I really agree that, he tried to use that as, like, look, like, know your place. And Charles Oakley took a stand like, look, I'm not going to be backing down from this neither. He showed resistance. He showed that he's well within his right. And I do understand that he's the owner and all that, the guy Dolan, but Charles Oakley told him, like, look, like, nah, man, like, I'm a Knick and all that. This is how you going to treat me? And with Draymond Green calling him like he's a slave master, I really agree. I really agree with him about what he said by calling him out on that. And these entertainers now, I see that they are finally showing some sort of testicular fortitude, especially these black men, about showing them, like, look, okay, I make money for you, and at the same time I'm an entertainer, but guess what? I'm still a human being, and I still got morals, values, and principles, and I'm going to take a stand on the situation. By calling him out, by calling him a slave master, he was well within his right. Because that this man, he dedicated his life to the New York Knicks, and you're going to try to use that. You're going to try to use that against him, and by calling him the slave master, that's how a lot of them owners treat those athletes any daggone way. Like, you my property, you play for the New York Knicks, or you play for this team, you play for that team, and they want us to keep our mouth shut. So, if you look at the relationship between, whether they be ball players or rappers and entertainers, that's how a lot of those executives look at them anyway. Now, of course, they're going to be cheering them on because they're making the millions of dollars and making the millions and billions of dollars. But when it come down to the relationship, the owner is pretty much looking at these guys as property, because, once you become, a hot commodity, you're a hot commodity to these people for quite some time. But in the end, when they're ready to get rid of you, They ready to get rid of you, and they get rid of you like it's nothing. Once you're not hot anymore, you're not hot. So for these guys, Nick Cannon and Draymond Green, I commend these two guys for taking the stand up against, the white power structure, to let them know, like, look, I'm not going to back down, and I'm not going to be solid, and I'm going to voice my opinion. So Nick Cannon told them, like, look, I'm going to remove myself. Now they want to come back and say that, well, we want him a part of the show. And that's exactly one of the things that, that our man Dave Chappelle did, many years ago, when he told him, like, look, I'm not going to wear no fucking dress. And by him taking the stand all those years, now he's rewarded a contract. And that's what these guys have to do. This is what these entertainers got to do. They got to show some type of, like, I'm not saying they got to go off of the handle, but they got to show them, like, look, I take a stand on something. I'm not going to back down. I'm going to let you know, like, look, I'm still a human being. I'm still an African. At the end of the day, I'm saying, whether you want to call yourself Black American, African American, or whatever the case may be, but I'm not going to back down from you. You're right. You understand what I'm saying? And it's about the time, the more athletes and entertainers, that they got to step their game up. And what these guys have done by calling them out for what it is. And it's going to be people that's not going to agree. But guess what? You have to show that you stand for something. So I really want to give Draymond Green and Nick Cannon a lot of credit, for what they did by taking the stand. And, it's just... I believe that they should, use their platforms for what it is. And I hope that, other athletes and entertainers are going to follow suit by calling it out. So I definitely want to, give those guys the credit, for what they did. And, I really appreciate that. And that's a good look. So, it's another video I had to drop for y'all once again. This is B Miles coming to you live from the B Miles 84 Conscious channel. One love once again. Peace.